Hi there, and welcome to the Multiply You podcast, where we showcase top experts in their space and reveal all the secrets you need to know to multiply you.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Austin Clark here, host of the Multiply You podcast. Really excited to be doing this again. Have another fantastic guest, Jon, who I'll introduce here in just a moment. This podcast and this episode, it's sponsored by my company, Moxie Pest Control out of Phoenix, Arizona. We are very excited about the outlook of 2023. In fact, it's a good part of what Jon and I will be discussing here while we're on the show together. But we have scheduled a lot of growth for 2023 as we have the previous decade plus since we've been in business here just in Phoenix. Part of the way that we've been doing that has been by acquiring different pest control companies as owners are feeling it's right or time for them to divest and turn that chapter in their life and either retire or go into something, do something different. And so when you're ready to have that conversation, I would love to have that conversation with you, or at least throw our hat into the ring of how we may be able to provide value, take care of your valued and very precious customers, employees, different sorts of things like that. You can call or text me directly. My cell's 480-254-9730, or you can email me directly at aclark@moxiepestcontrol.com. I've got Jon here from the Green Advantage. He is operating out of Indiana. Business was founded, I think, back all the way clear in 1994. Jon is one of those guys that has been there, done that. At one point, I think that he even held more certifications and licenses than probably nearly anyone in the country, certainly in Indiana. He's done pond work. He just became, I think, over the weekend or this last week, a certified arborist, which is just an insane accomplishment in our field. But really good to have Jon here today and excited to talk to you. Jon, welcome to the show. How are you doing today?
I am very good. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, no, thank you for being here. Your time is valuable and it's limited. Give us a little bit of the backstory. So company's been around for about 30 years or so now. Oh, sorry, not quite 30, but 20 or so, 25 years or so here. How did it start? How did you get your start in pest control? I think it started in lawn, but give us a little bit of the backstory.
Me and my brother started the company when I was 14, and we started in landscaping, cutting grass. And by the time I was 16, we had some pretty sizable accounts that required fertilizer. And that's basically where my pest control stuff started. I didn't have a mentor. I didn't have anybody teaching me how to do it. I had to figure it all out on my own. And as frustrating as what that was, it ended up benefiting me a lot, especially with the newer equipment like the mist blowers and that kind and that kind of stuff that came in later. Because I had to learn how to meter the machines all on my own. And I remember when I first started, I couldn't kill a dandelion for the life of me. And I figured out I was not metering that machine right. And you know how it is when you learn, when you struggle, when you have to figure it out, it's hard to figure out. That is that's the stuff that sticks with you the most. And I was able to apply that with down the road with the mosquito control and that. 2008 and 9 absolutely destroyed the landscape end of our business. But we were already doing pest control. And we were doing pretty good with that. We decided not to pursue the lawn maintenance side of things anymore, mainly because of the cost of the equipment and the labor. It's extremely labor intensive and seasonal. So, I mean, we were basically rebuilding our business every summer, and we had enough of that. Whereas the pest control, we can keep things going year round. And since then, we were one of the groundbreakers here in Indiana with the mosquito control services. In fact, that's one of our DBA names.
When did those, Jon, start becoming more popular in Indiana? Is it maybe kind of when awareness was generated with mosquitoes and the Zika virus and different diseases that they could carry, a decade or so ago? Or when did that start to take off there?
It was partially that, but it was more because of the regulatory. So what happened is the regulatory was categorizing the mist blowers as a ULV sprayer, which they are not a ULV sprayer. And when they categorized them the right way, when they started looking at them the right way in about 2013, 14, that just completely changed everything because it is a sprayer. It's an air blast application is actually what it's technically called. And when they started looking at it the right way, it opened up a whole list of products you could use in that type of application. I remember when we first started, every phone call would be about an hour explaining people how it works, what it does. It was a nightmare. Now people just call up and just sign me up. They don't even ask another question.
Sure. Yeah, they care less about how it gets done and more that just it gets done.
Yes. And one of the things that aided in our success in the mosquito end was knowing how, because of the experience I had with learning how to meter machines on my own, I had to learn that for the mist blowers as well. And using, and it's something I see, and I've talked to the state chemist here in Indiana about this, is that we need more education on that. I see a lot of people mixing up their 2 ounces per gallon, whatever the mix is for your regular spray rate. And that does not apply to a mist blower because you are using air and water as a carrier. And I mean, you can see it how much more area you cover with the machines. And so if they're not metered properly, you're going to get a low dose application, which causes other problems. The other thing I see is that not many are practicing resistance management when it comes to mosquito control. We're ones, for instance, we use a dual action product. We do it specifically for resistance management. Before we found this product, I was actually using, it would be like a chemistry set in the back of the truck. It was absolutely insane. And once I found this product, it made things a lot easier and a lot smoother. So that helped out a lot. And then applying at the right rate with the, you have to have the right amount of product going down per area, or you're not going to be effective. And that was one spot where we excelled. So we're one of the higher price companies in the area. I see a lot of people competing on price, and we just simply don't do that. I've experienced that with the land. Fortunately, being in the landscape industry, that's one of the things that happens in that industry. Everyone undercuts everybody. And what ends up happening is you price yourself so low you can't deliver quality. And
everyone's competing all the way down to the bottom. That's not a very fun game to play because there's no margin left over, and everyone knows that your margin is what keeps the lifeblood of the company going and allows you to be able to reinvest not only in employees and infrastructure, but a lot of the things that you've talked about, equipment, product. And look, I mean, a large part of what we do is application. And if you don't have that application dialed in, you can be over applying or under applying, and neither of them is good. A lot of people think, oh, well, I'll just mix it heavier or hotter and it'll be more effective. That is not the case at all. And you certainly don't want to under apply because, as you said, it leads to many, many, many other problems. But I think that makes a good segue too, Jon, into kind of the outlook of 2023. You had your experience starting the Green Advantage kind of in the landscape space. It helped you to get introduced to pest control. The price game or the cheapest service is not a good strategy. I mean, it's a strategy, but it's not a fun one to play. But also, I just think that this year is so ripe for disruption, if you will, because I mean, you said kind of before we got on, you go to the gas station, service is terrible. You go to the convenience store, service is almost non-existent. You go to, think about the last couple of places you spent money and what was your service experience like? So I'm in Phoenix. There was an event last night. We have the Super Bowl here on Sunday, and there was kind of an opening NFL experience at the Footprint Center where the Suns play, the Phoenix Suns play, and you could pay $20. I went down there with my son and some of his friends and my daughters. And even the people that were there scanning tickets, doing security, I mean, they just looked almost lifeless. Just like, and it's like, hey, this is like one of the biggest sporting events of the entire year. Patrick Mahomes is here. You know what I mean? Travis Kelce is here. Jason Kelce is here. You got Andy. I mean, all these just rock stars, and they're doing a good job to have it be fun and upbeat and music and interviews and all of it. But even at an event, my point is like that. I was surprised at the level of service and making that experience an incredible experience. What are some of the things that you've seen as it relates to service level and how that might be an opportunity for those of us that are concentrating on the customer and providing actual value to them?
That negative attitude that you're talking about is contagious, and it spreads to everybody, including, from me. If I'm having the negative attitude talking to my customer, I'm going to pass that negative attitude onto them, which results in lower sales, angry with the customer. You know what I mean? It just never works. And at the same time, the positive attitude is just as contagious if you can hold that and go the other direction. And when you're focusing on the customer, there's so many people not doing that you're the one swimming against the stream, and so you stand out, and it's fantastic. It's the people that are going to do that and focus on servicing the customer are going to shine in 2023. Recession or no recession doesn't matter. I mean, people still need our services regardless of the financial situations on a global scale. It doesn't matter. They still need our services. But what is going to attract them from us to the other company? And that is the service level. I have it all the time where I'm doing an estimate, or I'm walking around someone's house, or I'm doing the pest control, and there's a piece of garbage flying through the yard. You know what I mean? You go and pick it up. It's just, to me, it's like second nature. People see that stuff. Not only that, but just having that conversation with them. What I do is I try to avoid the negative topics, try to stay as positive as possible. I notice it especially with the media does it to us. They just drill it into our head. I find for myself, I haven't been watching much TV. I haven't been watching the news or anything, because it once again, it's contagious. They get into your head, and avoiding that is
well. And not to mention too, John, like as it relates to attitude or disposition, it literally takes no more effort or energy to be positive than it does to be negative. And so let's just decide that it'll be a good day, that will be positive, that will interact in a good, positive way with our customers, and see what happens. It's remarkable. People take note of picking up trash that's blowing through the yard. They talk about that. They tell people about that when they go out. They take note of someone, service person, whoever it is, bringing the newspaper up to the door, or taking the trash cans in that have been out for the trash man to collect.
Answering the phone. I mean, how often have
there you go.
And then not even returning messages when you call and leave a message. And so, I mean, it's bad enough that the phone.
It's unconscionable.
The
bar is so low.
The phone wasn't picked up, but then not even returning a phone call. It boggles my mind. We have a rule here. The phone shouldn't ring more than twice, and somebody should be on it. Even in the evenings and that, we have, we're not in the office 24/7, but we have an answering service where there's emergencies. They text me, you know what I mean? You could basically get a hold of me if there's an emergency 24/7. And I like to be available that way. And most of our customers know us well enough that they're not going to sound the alarm for things that are irrational, I have had those phone calls though, where a raccoon is falling through the drywall and stuff like that though. So, and you want to be available for people when that happens.
Yeah. Well, and all this focus on, the customer and value. I mean, rumor has it you can charge more for services like that. which is exactly what all of us should be doing. I mean, we should not be competing down to the bottom on these razor thin, non-existent margins. That's not the way the world goes round. You don't find those companies around for many years, as you do that.
So I see a lot where people have the guilt of charging the higher price, and they don't feel right about that. And the truth is if you are selling a quality product with the customer service that goes along with it, there is nothing immoral or wrong about asking for higher pricing, and you'll be able to deliver that way. You'll be able to deliver that service. And the truth is that you are if you know in your heart of hearts that you are selling a quality product that is helping the customer, the money side doesn't really matter. I am trying to help the customer. I'm enthusiastic about the work that we do because I know how much it helps the customer, and that's what I want. Now, I know as a fact, and the landscape industry really taught me this, you end up in the downward spiral when you get in the price category. And what happens is you're trying to beat the price of the other guy. You want to be the high quality customer or high quality company. You truly do. But you're competing on price. So you lower your price. You can't deliver the quality. And what happens is your reputation goes with that. And you end up in the downward spiral where you'll never be able to deliver that quality. And that is one of the most depressing spots to be in. It is horrible. At the end of the day, there's nothing to be proud of, and a lot of what I do it's not the big paycheck. You know what I mean? I enjoy the satisfaction of a job well done, and I love helping people, and that's what makes me feel good.
John, what are some of the things, what's 2 or 3 things that you would say to people that are listening that would make all the difference in 2023 as far as service level? And perhaps you've touched on 1 or 2 already: picking up trash that's blowing through the yard, answering the phone inside of 2 rings or 3 rings, returning messages, for heaven's sakes. You know what I mean? Is there anything that you're focusing on at your company, the Green Advantage, or that you think people ought to look to focus on to stand out from the competition as it relates to service level in 2023?
Attitude. Attitude is number 1. And we're working on that as a group because the media, social media, everywhere around us, we're bombarded with bad news, and it makes us all depressed. It's, and like I said, that's contagious. It goes, it spreads. And as a group, in our company, we have meetings in the morning. We try to get ourselves focused on what we're going out there to do and what we're trying to accomplish. And we all know the service that we're providing, and we're proud of it. And when we can keep that negative stuff out of the way, and we use that time, the meeting in the morning, to kind of uplift everybody because it is depressing. And it makes nothing is worth it. We wonder why there's such a turnover in employees. And that's one of the main reasons why. Work in most places, work has turned miserable, and work is not miserable. It should be something that we enjoy. I teach my kids that the satisfaction of a job well done. If you can learn how to enjoy that, the paycheck is just a bonus. And you'll make more than you ever would because you're trying to help, you're trying to deliver. And that's what people are looking for. And there's such a hole in the market for that customer service.
Yeah. Well, how does the saying go? You love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life. And just like you said, if you go out there and get it and grind and take care of customers, that financial piece will follow. It's inevitable. Your business will grow, it'll flourish, and you'll be successful as it relates to that piece of your life. As we start to round this out in the next just couple of minutes or so, John, what are some of the things that what's your outlook on 2023? I think that it's mostly positive, but what would you say to those about improving 2023 versus 2022? How do they do a little bit more, be a little bit more, go the extra mile aside from attitude? What would you share with them in parting thoughts or comments?
I would watch how you are serviced when you are the customer. And you can pretty much make mental notes all over the place on how you should be acting and how it makes you feel, how it makes you move forward into things. I think across the board, I think we are going to see some financially harder times coming in the future. I believe that if you stay focused and you stay dedicated, this is a perfect time for innovation. This is a time where you can focus on your business and be more efficient. You can do things better and you learn how to deliver the quality. So there's an opportunity in all of it. And I personally think focusing on those things will make it not a financially hard time. And the truth is everybody's going through the same thing. The difference is how we react to it and how we act because of it. The more it brings out the better in us, the better we'll do, both business wise, financially, all the way around. I'm excited. I'm extremely excited coming into this year. And now I had the rough times during 2008 and 9. So, I understand how difficult it can be in those times, but I also look back on that and how some of that difficulty straightened me out from some of the mistakes I was making because we got used to an easy environment for business. That's part of the reason why people aren't answering the phones, because they're.
Oh yeah. The last decade with the bullish market, you could be severely lacking and have made some money and have grown a company. I love that perhaps a recession is coming in the sense that a recession purges out marketplaces, and not to say that it's good to have people go away or businesses not be there, but it makes people that are serious about their business kind of tighten up the bootstraps, go to work a little bit more, put a little bit more elbow grease into it, and really take care of their customers. And so there's great growth that can happen and wealth that can be created in these difficult times and these recessions, as those that are serious about service level continue to maintain the type of service that their customers have come to expect, which hopefully is just top-notch and world-class type service.
Well, especially for the guys who maybe didn't have a business going through, say, 2008 and 9, where it was rough.
Yeah.
The times I look back on it now and I look at the things I learned that have made my business that much better. Like if it didn't happen, I would not be in the place I am today. In addition to that, these are the times when I love tinkering in the shop. I love building stuff. We build a lot of our own equipment. These are those times when you get into that because you have to get creative, and you have to find ways to be more efficient. And a lot of times you find the better ways to do things. I actually like it when these guys. I wish it would happen on a regular basis, not as deep as what like a 2008 or 9 was. If it would happen every maybe 5 to 7 years and not as deep of crashes, that would be. I think it would actually be healthy.
Yeah, going through difficult times, you learn about yourself and you learn about what's important, and you become creative, kind of like you said. Jon, thank you so much for being on. How do people carry on the conversation with you if they'd like to do that? Are you active on social? Is there an email that works? How do people reach out to you?
You can reach me at Jon, Jon, at thegreenadvantage.biz, B-I-Z. Our website has a lot of information on it. We have, I have blogs, I have information for everybody. It helps both the technicians and the customers.
Yeah, I've been on there. It's a great site. Super informative.
Yeah, I try to stay. I wrote another blog this morning. I try to get 2 to 3 of them a week. I enjoy doing it. It helps keep me focused, but it also it's educational for people and the customers. we are getting more active on social media. We'll have our YouTube channel really rolling this summer. What we're doing is we're doing a promotionary local business, promoting local business. And we are actually going to be going to local businesses and shooting videos of just trying to keep that the spirit high, trying to keep people happy, like keep people moving ahead. I see if the economy does get bad, I don't think it's inflation. I don't think it's the money situation. I don't think it's a lot of those things. I think it has more to do with our attitudes than anything else. I really do.
Yeah. Well, you heard it here first, everybody. Attitude is everything. Take it from Jon. Jon, thank you so much for your time and for being on. Definitely check out Jon's site, thegreenadvantage.biz. You can reach Jon at his email, jon@thegreenadvantage.biz. And just really appreciative of everyone tuning in. These are dropping once a week. Please share it. Please subscribe it. Please do all the things that you do. And until the next one, create a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the Multiply You podcast. You'll see us again soon when you subscribe for future episodes.